everybody, and welcome to my Week 11 preview game for Ravens at Steelers at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Let's get into it. So, as always, I'm going to start with the injuries, and then offensive and defensive sides of each team, and then just kind of what I expect to see. We're also going to do what I hope to see, but we'll be realistic about this video. So kicking off with Baltimore injuries, Arthur Millette was ruled out with a calf injury that he sustained during practice this week, and Travis Jones is questionable. He missed last week. I kind of think he'll miss this week again. Right now, they have too many players active on the 53-man roster. They have to cut down to 4 or by 4 for Sunday's game. I think Travis Jones is going to be a lead contender for that. And Eddie Jackson did not travel with the team to Pittsburgh. I'm not sure why. It's not injury related, so I'm not sure if there's something personal going on or if they're benching him like they did with Williams that week. So keep an eye on that story and see what comes of it. Hamilton and Likely were full participants in practice on Friday and were not on the injury report. So really great news for the offense and defense for the Ravens. Hopefully you see both of them good to go. We're definitely going to need Hamilton this game, so should be good. Steelers, Highsmith, Henderson, and Pruitt are all out. Jalen Warren, Corey Trice are questionable. I think Highsmith is going to be that's kind of a game changer. I don't think it makes this game any easier, but I do think it will help. Alrighty, getting into the Ravens offensive side of the ball. Look, the whole conversation has been Lamar is 1-4 against the Steelers. I get that. He's also been sacked 20 times by the Steelers. So, this game, it's always tough. It's always close. I don't really think it's the Steelers that have Lamar's number. It's just kind of TJ Watt has always kind of been able to get home, and that's really the big concern. If you look at the 3 losses the Ravens have had this season, it's all been against teams with a great pass rush. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Chris Jones, and now you're playing against the best with a team that sees you twice a year. So this O-line has got to hold up. It's got to hold the protections. It's got to keep Watt from getting home, but they also have to limit the penalties. It can't be a ton of holding calls or illegal formations that we saw during the first half of the Bengals game and we've seen pop up all year long. They have to be really locked in. I do think it's challenging because this is the division team Lamar has seen the least amount. He rarely plays that second game of the season against them. He's either been hurt or they're the final game of the season, and he's been rested for playoffs. So I do think that adds an element versus the Steelers have just seen the Ravens all the time, even though they don't see Lamar specifically as much. So definitely going to be a tough matchup. I need them to stay true to the run game. They need to stay true to it. They're throwing the ball really well, and I want them to keep that. Just don't abandon the run. They've been doing a really good job these last few weeks. I want to see that keep up. I really don't care if it's Henry that's running the ball. With Keaton coming back, he had some snaps during the Bengals game. I think this week we'll see him even more active in this game. Probably not on the snap count. Get him really back into the game. We'll see how they're going to file him in with Justice Hill and Derrick Henry. So I think that's really exciting. Just keep up with the run. Don't get away from it, even if you get behind. I know Deontay Johnson had his whatever Twitter post. I don't care. I know he wants to be more involved. This is the name of the game for Ravens wide receivers. I'm not sure why wide receivers come to Baltimore and think they're going to light it up with number of targets and catches. That's not how this offense has ever looked. That's not how this works. That's not who Lamar is. He's going to spread the ball around. Um, his tight ends are going to get a lot of targets. His running backs are going to get a lot of targets. Zay Flowers is going to get a lot of targets. I do think we'll see him get more involved, but with Likely back, I think he kind of falls to that target number 6 option. So hopefully he's not completely unhappy. I know Lamar wants to get him into the rotation. He's just not going to see, I think, the number of targets he's hoping for. Special teams, Tucker has got to figure it out. We can't keep missing PATs or field goals or any of it. This game is going to be a close one. They're going to need every point they can get. So I think he's going to be really instrumental in this game. I think he could be a deciding factor. So hopefully he's on point. Defensively, it's been terrible. Zach Orr, Roquan both talked this week about how they're just kind of embarrassed about the Bengals game. They should be. This past defense has been atrocious. They're doing well at the line. We even saw the pressure step up this past week. That pass defense has got to get better, especially against this team and what they're doing right now. Russell Wilson's deep ball to Pickens and Williams, that's kind of been where they've been living at. They can't let that game get away from them. They can't let them beat them that far down the field. Just getting that pass defense right, even if it's just eliminating the yards after catch and limiting what they can do in the red zone. And for the love of God, stop with the penalties. The false starts or the offsides, the pass interferences, the face masks, whether they're called or not, a lot of players were fined on the Ravens side for that 2-point conversion. The face mask, low tackles, all of it. It's got to stop. They've got to get this under control. This defense really just needs to tighten up and play the way they know how to play. It's a lot of the same guys from last year. I know PQ's not there. I know Jones isn't there, but come on. And Stone, he's gone. That's not where this team lived. Humphrey is playing really well. Hamilton is playing really well. Roquan's playing really well. Matabike last week finally had 3 sacks on a night. Let's keep that energy. Let's keep that drive. I definitely like seeing the pass rush come alive last week or come back alive. Got to keep that up, especially against this team. That's really where the money's going to be, is in the pass rush. Like I said, Matabike had 3 sacks last week. I'd love to see him get home again this week. I'd like to see Kyle Van Noy kind of come back alive. He started the season really hot. It's kind of tapered off. I think him and Matabike make a really great team. Let's keep that going. I think they currently hold the streak for the longest number of games with 2 or more sacks. We definitely got to get more. It helps the pass defense. It helps keep all of it kind of in front of us. I think if they can keep that up, if both of those guys can have great games, then it should be a close game. As for the Steelers, Russell Wilson is playing really well, a lot better than I thought he would. He looks way more like the Seahawks Russell than he ever looked at Denver. Rolling out of the pocket a little bit, that deep ball, like I said, to Pickens and Williams, and obviously complemented by their run game. Najee Harris is playing really well. He's a great running back. I remember the day he was drafted, they were playing his highlight reel, and I just went, damn. So, this offense is playing at a level way higher than it's played the last couple of years. And that, as a Ravens fan, makes me nervous. Usually, this matchup is a defensive juggernaut. And the Steelers are still the Steelers on defense, but their offense has gotten way better. So, definitely want to see improvement on the Ravens defense on that front because, yeah, Russell Wilson's playing really great. Pickens is playing great. I think Williams was treated wildly unfair in New York. Not everything's his fault. Some of, if not all of it, is Aaron Rodgers. So to see him succeed in Pittsburgh, I'm happy for him, but also go away. Defensively, I mean, this defensive unit speaks for itself. The Steelers have always had a great defense. They play really well on the front line. TJ Watt is a monster. I know other guys sometimes have better years, but he is far and away one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. It's not even close. He's having a great year. He's been healthy all year, which is kind of out of character for him, but I'm happy for him. I hate seeing guys get hurt. Unfortunately, his running mate, Highsmith, is hurt. I do think it will have an impact on this game, but TJ Watt is still that special kind of talent, and the Ravens O-line being as young as they are and having the struggles they are, I think there's a chance Watt kind of eats up the backfield. So hopefully the O-line can hold up, but the Steelers defense just speaks for itself. This is who they are. This is who they've always been. I think it's going to be a struggle. I'm not sure it's going to be the juggernaut matchup it has been in the past. And then special teams, obviously, Boswell is a great kicker. He is one of the most consistent. I think he's got one of the highest percentages from 50 plus. So Tucker's got to be on point. He's got to be able to go toe to toe with him. So yeah, I think projection wise, I'm never going to count the Ravens out. I'm never going to say there's not a chance. But typically, the Steelers-Ravens game is a defensive matchup. While the Ravens offense is playing the best it has in Lamar's tenure, the Steelers offense is playing the best it has in years. And only one team has a great defensive unit right now. I'm not saying the Ravens can't get there. I'm not saying they don't need to get there. But based off what I've seen the past several weeks is this unit has a lot to get right. And I think there are teams or opponents that they could do that against. I'm not sure this is one of them. I'm not sure that this offense, it's specifically designed almost to beat the Ravens with that deep ball and the run game working so well together. For the first time, being honest, I do have my score projection as a Ravens loss at 17-24 Steelers. I don't think a Ravens loss here breaks the season. I don't think it's going to keep them out of the playoffs. I don't think it's going to do any of that. I do think it really puts into question the Super Bowl hopes. With a defense playing this bad, I'm not sure if when they get to the playoffs if they'll be able to hold up. Obviously, there's still some weeks left, but like Zach Orr said during his press conference this week, they're running out of time. They have to fix it now. There's no later. There's no down the line. We're running out of time. I also think I don't think it will officially eliminate him, but I do think there will be the undertone of Lamar can't win MVP after this game if they lose. He's having an incredible season. But I've said for weeks that the voter fatigue, I think, will want to not give it to him. They're gonna want someone else. And if he loses to the Steelers, a team he's always struggled against, everything right now about the Ravens is all of Lamar's shortcomings, his active shortcomings. Oh, he's 2-4 in the playoffs. He's 1-4 against the Steelers. He's 1-5 against the Chiefs. That's all anybody cares about right now. That's all the focus is about when it comes to Lamar, is what he hasn't been able to do. So I think if he loses this game with the loss to the Chiefs, I think the voters are just going to look for every reason not to give it to him. And I get it. I understand the fatigue. 2 MVPs, you want him to have a Super Bowl. But I just think, I think a loss here, they're going to take it from him. Henry's been in that conversation. The way Saquon's been playing and the way he played Thursday night. Obviously, Brendan and I will talk about that in our next week video, but Saquon's kind of the top of everybody's list right now. It's who's hot, who's exciting. It is easy to be like, this is the most recent thing that we've seen in football. This is the most exciting thing that's happened recently. But I also don't think, typically the MVP comes from the 1 or the 2 seed. And while that's pretty much out of the question for the Ravens at this point, unless the Chiefs just take a tumble or the Bills take a tumble. But I don't, and I think they would have gotten over that. I don't think you can go to someone that doesn't win their division. I think that's going to be a hard sell. So, to that credit, Lamar does not give a crap about another MVP. He wants a Super Bowl. To be honest, I don't give a crap about another MVP. I really want them to get a Super Bowl. Obviously, I think MVPs are a testament to how well Lamar has played and who he is as a quarterback. But a Super Bowl means more at this point. It's what this team needs. It's what he needs. I think it's what Ravens fans need. But I just think a loss Sunday to the Steelers would mean a significant dip in Lamar's ability to win MVP, and I was already hard-pressed thinking they weren't going to give it to him. So I do think this elevates that. Again, never going to count the Ravens out. I would love a win. I think there's a path to victory Sunday against the Steelers. If that defense can get right, if that defense can genuinely look themselves in the mirror and just play tighter, play better, stop with the mistakes, the fixable mistakes, the penalties, the blown coverages, all of that is fixable. If they can do that, and if they can limit the deep ball, keep Russell from rolling out, get some sacks, get that pass rush going, and keep the run game for the Ravens going. Keep that energy. Don't get away from who we are just because we're behind. Even if Henry's not getting those immediate yards. I talked last week about Monken's ability to scheme him open and get those big rushes that helps open up the middle of the O-line. If he can do that again, if they can do that again, I do think there's a chance to victory. I think there's a shot. I think there's an option. But based off how this team has played so far this year, and against teams with an elite pass rusher, they're going to lose 17 to roughly 24. Obviously not what I'm hoping for, not what I'm rooting for, but Brandon and I talked about when we were doing this, we wanted it to be honest. And while I'm a Ravens fan, I'm also a football fan, and that means I am realistic. And right now, that's what this team can do. And that's what they've shown me they can do. I think they're better than that. I think they can be better than that. But this is the current stance. So, I do think that does it for my Week 11 preview game, Ravens at Steelers. 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, still rooting for the Ravens. It's all flock, all happiness here. And then stay tuned for Brennan and I's Week 11 recap video of how it went. I'll obviously talk about this game, whether I was excited, and hopefully wrong. I want to be wrong. They can show me I am, and we'll talk about that. For now, though, hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. If you disagree, if you see something I don't see, if you want something more out of these videos, let us know. And we'll get this going for you guys. And if not, we will see you guys next week. Bye.